Good morning. Today I am very pleased to announce Mary Mosiman, a CPA, is Iowa's new state auditor. She will replace David Bout, who resigned to become head of the Government Accounting Standard Board. I want to thank David for his devoted more than a decade of public service to the people of Iowa and his faithful work as the watchdog, the taxpayers' watchdog. All Iowans are better off as a result of David Bout's service, where he oversaw their tax dollars at the state level and carefully monitored local tax dollars as well, rooting out waste and fraud and mismanagement. In working with David Bout, we ended the bad practices that led to instability and unpredictability in state budgets. We ended the use of one-time money for ongoing expenses. We enacted 2-year budgets with 5-year projections, and we closed a projected $900 million, this is the state level, $900 million projected deficit. As a result of our hard work, we now have our economic emergency fund and cash reserves fully funded, and we have a significant ending balance. When the Lieutenant Governor and I launched our search for a new state auditor, we had 2 major requirements. We wanted that individual to be a CPA, and we wanted to make sure that individual would adhere to the sound budgeting principles that were followed so closely by David Bout during all of his years as state auditor. In Mary Mosiman, we found that and much more. Mary Mosiman is a talented, experienced public servant who will keep a very close watch over the tax dollars. Mary and her husband Dan live in rural Ames and have 4 daughters. She's a member of the Iowa Society of CPAs, is a past president of the Nevada Rotary, and is an active member of the Gilbert Education Foundation. I'm excited and looking forward to working with Mary as we continue to offer Iowa taxpayers the stability and predictability they deserve. I'm also pleased to mention the fact that she will be the very first woman to serve as Auditor of State. And now I'm pleased to turn it over to Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds.
Well, thank you, Governor Branstad, and good morning. I've known Mary for a number of years as our work as local government officials. Mary served as the Story County Auditor for 10 years, and really she was a leader in the Auditors Association. Mary's one of the hardest working public officials that I've had the pleasure to work with and to know, and I look forward to working with her in the future. She will be a partner in ensuring Iowa's budget remains stable and predictable. We look forward to working with her as we continue the great progress we've made in closing the state's $900 million budget gap and building up our cash reserves and economic emergency funds. As the governor said, we were looking for an individual who followed those budget principles. Avoid the use of one-time money for ongoing expenses. Refrain from standing appropriations. Resist implementing new programs in the middle of the fiscal year. Avoid multi-year accelerating commitments. Accurately determine state revenue and expenses. Align expenses and revenue in the same fiscal year. Avoid funding programs through property taxes and fees, and reject diversion of funds statutorily authorized for a specific object to other purposes. She will be an advocate for standing up for those sound budget principles. I want to thank Mary for accepting this position and taking the level of service to a new level and one that will benefit all Iowans. And now really it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce Iowa's new state auditor, Mary Mosiman.
Good morning, everybody. I'm honored by the governor's appointment decision, and I want to thank him for his confidence and for his leadership. And I look forward every day to working the best that I can to not only validate the governor's decision, but also to earn the same type of confidence from the people of Iowa. I will do my very best every day. The governor asked me during our interview why I wanted to be the state auditor. And I wanted him to know, and now I want you to know, It's because the impact the state auditor has on the people of Iowa, it's significant. Every government entity, the schools, the cities, the counties, the state, they use public funds to provide their public services, and that impacts everybody. So to be a part of that quality control surrounding those public funds, that matters, and I will be honored to provide that type of service. I do want to say a quick thank you to my family, as they were giving their thoughtful words of consideration while I was exploring this opportunity. That meant a great deal to me, so I wanted to say a quick thank you to them. I also want to thank Secretary of State Matt Schultz, whom I've had the pleasure of working with these last couple of years as his deputy in the Secretary of State's office. He has provided support and encouragement throughout this entire effort, and that is very much appreciated. And I will miss working with you, Matt, as well as the outstanding individuals in the Secretary of State's office. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge and thank David Vaught for his recognized leadership of this office and for his role as the taxpayer's watchdog. He is going to be a tough act to follow, I know this, but I like the challenge, and I'm going to look forward to continuing with the best practices and procedures that he has established. Consistency in these matters is paramount. My top priorities will be to work with the governor and the governor's office and the General Assembly to continue to maintain these consistent budgeting practices that the State Auditor's Office has put into place. I also want to communicate throughout the state to the people of Iowa information regarding the state's budget and our financial status. And of course, I want to be able to provide those necessary financial audits all throughout the government entities. Not all of these priorities and duties are accomplished by just one individual. So the current team of professionals that works in the State Auditor's Office, they are the heart and the soul behind most all of these duties, and they do a great job. I'm looking forward to working with this exceptional group of individuals. In fact, I can't wait to get started. So, one last thing, as your Auditor of State, I will serve the people of Iowa. I will welcome comments and input and suggestions, and I will do what I can to address any concerns that you might have. In other words, I work for you. Please feel free to contact me. I am honored to be your Auditor of State. So thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you.